Oh boy, we got another call. Uh, this it's actually my fault. I should put my phone in airplane mode while I'm doing this. I shouldn't leave chance for the world to sneak in into my world. So it's actually on me. And trust me, next time, like I already learned my lesson. But anyway, as I was saying once again, I like the path of the general practitioner, the guy who does a little bit of everything, because I truly, truly believe that my writing influenced the way I draw, and the way I draw influenced the music I create. Like everything feeds off each other. And when I draw, when I write, when I do music, it all stimulates different parts of my brain. But it all, like, it fits. I know that when I started playing music, my writing got better because I started to focusing or paying more attention to the sound words make, not just the meaning. And I can tell that when I'm reading someone who also does music. Like I was reading the Neil Young books, his biographies, which are really good. I recommend him. He's a really good writer, which of course he is. He's a very good songwriter. And you can tell in the way he writes, if you start reading it out loud, it has melody, you know. And there's some writers that they don't have it. Even great writers don't have it. You just start reading out loud. It's like monotonous almost, which is okay. You don't have to have that rhythm and melody, but if you have it, that's great. And I know also that drawing helped my music. It's not something you can really explain, but I know a difference. When I started drawing, I noticed a difference, and it also affects my writing. It makes me think in a more graphic kind of way. It makes me think in images. And a lot of times when I'm writing songs, I just picture an image in my head, and then I start trying to find what music suits that image. And I've been able to create a lot of I don't know if I call it great, but music that is some steps higher than the one I was usually creating. So I truly believe everything feeds off each other, and there is something to be gained by practicing different kinds of arts. I well, I love Japanese culture. Not Japanese culture, like samurai culture. You know, I used to have a book on Bushido, which is what samurais studied. Bushido is like I think it's something like the way of the warrior or something like that. And samurais, they not only train sword fighting, because they also believe that cross training within different what do you call it, disciplines, is what creates, like, what makes you really great. So most of the samurais, they were also great poets, and they used to study calligraphy as an art form, and they used to do all sort of things that you might not expect. You expect that they would just focus on sword fighting because that's what they would be hired to do. But they actually had that belief that in order to be truly great, you have to also master everything else. and the final idea was to gain mastery over one's own self. And well, I guess it goes back to what I was saying before about using art as a way to dig in and find out what's inside of you. I guess it fits to that. As you're thinking of all the different art forms as a way of mastering your own self. And I do think that that's something that took me so much time to get right. So much time to understand myself. Because I have the thing which, depending on how you look at it, it's good or bad, that I am a very, very highly unusual person. As you can probably tell, not many people make videos like this, which is kind of like going to a therapist in a way, just pouring my life out there. But it's true, I am very unusual, and it took me a long time to realize that I would never fit in the sort of structures that are built for the quote unquote normal people, or at least people that are more usual. And that is really bad in the way that the world is not really designed for people like me to succeed. It's very hard. Most of the artists I know are having a terrible time. First of all, making any money. Second of all, getting life balance between working, improving, doing their own artistic pursuits, and having a life. I know very few that are actually happy with what they do, and yeah. So for me, it took a long time. It was very hard. It was very hard. Lots of time I thought, maybe I should just give up. Get a normal job and just suck it up and just get through with life. But luckily I didn't. Luckily I couldn't. Really, I couldn't. Because if I could, I would have. Because it would have been so much easier. But because of my constant trying, and because I couldn't do anything else, it was pretty much either I make this art thing work, or if I have to die in the process, then so be it. Of course, I'm being a little bit dramatic. I love being over dramatic. I always say that it helps me write better stories, to have some melodrama. But in a way, it was like that. When I came to Australia and I wanted to busk for a long time, I couldn't make it work. I was working in a hostel, so I didn't have to pay rent, and yeah, it was. Those were very interesting times, let's just say. But then, slowly, you just keep doing it. You keep doing it, and slowly things start clicking. And now I'm in a place where I'm so happy, and everything seems to be working great right now. So I am truly happy. And I would never have decided to make this video if I was, if I didn't have the space, not only physical space, but space mentally, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and write for hours and hours and talk about life to people that are not even there, not knowing if anybody's gonna hear it, not even caring if anybody's gonna hear it. But I guess that shows where my mind is right now. I want to do stuff. I'm in a place where, even though money is always going to be a problem, and I barely have enough for what I need. Enough is enough, actually. And barely enough is still enough. So that's why I'm trying to do all this crazy stuff. Like these kind of videos and the music video. And let's see what happens. I think as well I have the same problem I have in the real world, to call it one way. It's the same problem I have in the digital one, which is I am a highly unusual person and it's hard for people to get me, especially straight away. And in the world we live, where people can just swipe, and people give you what? Maybe if you're lucky, they give you 2-second attention. Maybe. Most people would just, they see me, they will just swipe. And that's okay. I don't expect the world to behave any differently. But I understand, and that's why I don't get disappointed or disheartened by it. I'll just continue to do things and continue to put myself out there in every way, shape, or form I can. And then we'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens. Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stop it now because it's actually lunchtime. So, I'll see you guys in a bit, and we're almost done. Almost done.